Hello, this is Mario from ODEON. In this video, we will show how to create custom color scales. Color scales are mainly used for grid results, although they are also used in other features such as billiard balls, 3D matrix, and array loudspeakers. ODEON comes with a selection of previously defined color scales, but you can also create your own if required. An easy way to create a new color scale is by going to Tools, Generate Grid Color Scale File. Here, you can choose any default color scale as a starting template. You can also change the number of colors in the scale. Keep in mind that the scale will not be limited to these exact colors. ODEON will interpolate in between them to create a continuous spectrum. Let's create a 10-color version of the geography color scale. The color scale file opens up in the ODEON editor. The colors are defined in RGB format. So, for each row, the first number is the red value, the second is the green value, and the third is the blue value, with numbers going from 0 to 1. The numbers can be separated by any number of spaces or tabs. You can also enter comments, either starting with a semicolon or 2 forward slashes. The top color will be for the lowest value in the scale, and the bottom color will be for the highest value in the scale. Keep in mind that this is inverted from how the scale is shown in the software. You can enter any number of colors, and ODEON will automatically adjust the scale to the currently shown range of values. To easily add a color code, go to Tools, Insert Color Code. You have a palette of basic colors, but you can also define your own custom colors. If you know your desired color in hexadecimal, you can convert it to decimal RGB and enter the numbers here. In Google, you can search for hexadecimal to decimal RGB converters. Keep in mind that if you click on Add to Custom Colors, the colors stored here will be deleted when you close the ODEON editor, so they will not be preserved. Once you have defined your custom color, you can add it by clicking OK. Let's save this scale by clicking on the Save icon. The color scale will then be available to select within ODEON. Let's look at a more complicated example by generating a color scale from the STI numbers and labels file. Let's ignore the first section for now. For STI color maps, one might prefer a contour map, where different colors may cover different percentages of the full scale. There is a specific way to define a contour map like this one. ODEON distributes the scale evenly across all lines. Here, 20 lines have been entered, so each line will account for 5% of the scale. Then, each color is repeated as many times as necessary to cover the required percentage. For example, here are 6 lines for red, meaning red will cover the first 30% of the scale. Now, let's take a look at this label section. This is to assign descriptive labels at different points of the scale. The label range statement is required to make some definitions. The first 2 numbers are the default minimum and maximum of the range, which will automatically update the min and max columns in the room acoustic parameter list. Next is the labeling type, where you can enter numbers, labels, or numbers and labels. depending on what you want to be shown in the results. Finally, this is the scale type, which can either be closed or open. A closed scale is one with explicitly defined limits. For STI, values can only go from 0 to 1 by definition, which makes it a closed scale. On the other hand, SPL is not restricted to limits, making it an open scale. This setting determines whether the greater or equal and lesser or equal signs are displayed in the scale. Then, the lines down here specify the labels, and at which percentage of the scale they will be displayed. The bad range of STI goes from 0 to 30% of the range between the minimum and the maximum, so here we are placing the bad label at 15% of the scale. Finally, in order to get a contour map rather than an interpolated map, you should make sure that smooth colors is disabled. If the color scale has labels, then smooth colors should be disabled automatically when the scale is selected. Otherwise, you can always toggle it manually. If you select the color scale file, but you enter min and max values different than the default for the color scale, the labels will simply not be displayed. You will find the color scale files in the Application Data folder, which you can access from within ODEON in the Options menu. Explore Application Data folder. The color scale files are these with the CLR extension. If you double-click on any of them, it will open up on the ODEON editor. Although, you could also load and edit them in Notepad. With that, we conclude this tutorial, and we hope you have found it useful. Good luck!